at Women's Personal Finance. And I thought today I would talk a little bit about the Pantry challenge that I'm doing and that we've been talking about over on Woven this week. So what is a Pantry challenge? It can change depending on what you're trying to do. But ultimately, the idea is a lot of us have a lot of food on our shelves, in our pantries, in our deep freezers that we buy with great intentions to use the food in there. And then it gets buried when we buy new stuff. It gets pushed to the back and we forget about it. And then eventually maybe we clean it out and it's gone bad and we have to toss it out, which is a big waste, but it is also a big money waste too. So a pantry challenge is basically where instead of going and buying more stuff from the grocery store on a weekly, monthly, daily basis, whatever you do, you first look to what you have on hand and use that up as much as possible. Some people are very, very strict about this and don't use anything else and only go with what they have. Easier in the summer for me to do with a large garden and a bunch of chickens, but it's really hard to have enough fresh produce to do it for very long. So having some parameters that allow you to restock your perishables, be that milk or cheese or fresh produce, that can be a part of a pantry challenge. And then otherwise, when you're looking to make your meals, you're going to your freezer and your pantry and coming up with more creative meals instead. So again, when grocery bills are really, really expensive like they are now, this can be a great way to save a lot of money. And it also is a big savings on waste, which for those of you who know me, I first started being on the online money space as Tread Lightly, Retire Early. So really coming from a sustainability side first and foremost. It just so happens though that a lot of things that are environmentally the right decision are also monetarily the right decision. And a pantry challenge is exactly that. Some people do it for a week, a month, 6 months, a year. I don't have very strict parameters for me this time. It's more just about when I'm starting to think about meals, I am first going to the pantry. I'm first going to the freezer. So like for my lunch today, I have a bunch of those Tasty Bites pouches of like Madras lentils and different vegetarian curries and whatnot that have been sitting on our shelf for a very, very long time. And you know, they're not my favorite thing. The Madras lentils can be really good in other stuff, but I don't usually eat them by themselves. So a lot of lunches this week, last week, I have been grabbing a pouch of that and making some rice and taking that for my lunch. Not the most exciting meal, but I have to say that it is really satisfying because I realize I am using up that food that's been sitting on the shelf. I've already spent the money on it, so it's basically free at that point. Yes, I spent the money previously, but it really is a lost cause. I've already spent it. So by actually eating the food, I'm saving quite a bit of money. And then that food doesn't go in the landfill, which, you know, you've all heard the American families waste like 40% of their food. So a pantry challenge can also be a really great way to reduce your waste for the month. Not super exciting, but really, really doable. And so this is, you know, a pantry challenge, but this can also be used for any sort of thing, be it, you know, that lotion that you first bought that you thought you were going to love and you don't love. Maybe you do use it. Your least favorite chapstick, a pair of shoes that you like okay, but don't wear. Maybe those become your gardening and yard work shoes. It's, you know, across the board, I think we could all do a lot better at looking at ways to use up what we already have instead of going out and buying something. The cheapest thing is always the thing you don't buy. And so the most affordable thing and the most environmental thing is what you use up that you already have. So I would love to hear if you are also doing a pantry challenge and what your parameters are and what your goal is with that. And with that, I'm over and out. Thanks.